Every so often, a hearing aid comes along that people start talking about, even outside of audiology. And right now, that one is the Oticon Zeal. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's a very small, instant fit, completely in the canal device, with all the modern bits people expect. Rechargeable, streaming, proper connectivity like Oracast. And on the face of it, it solves a problem a lot of people care about. They want good tech, but they don't want anything on show. Now, from a design point of view, I really like it. From an engineering point of view, I really respect it. And if you asked me, is Zeal a good hearing aid? My answer is yes. So why won't we be providing it? When you've worked in audiology long enough, you realise that the hearing aid is not what makes the biggest difference. It's everything wrapped around it. The quality of the assessment, how accurately the fitting is verified, whether the programming matches the person's real day-to-day life, the support in those first few weeks, the adjustments as their brain adapts, the rehabilitation and the expectation setting that stop people giving up too early, the ongoing care. That's the part that decides whether someone genuinely hears better. And at the same time, there's a whole other part of the market that's racing to make devices cheaper and more frictionless. So over-the-counter products, online devices, self-fit apps, whether you like that or not, it is happening. So at one end, you've got people trying to strip cost out, and at the other end, manufacturers have slowly nudged prices up at the top. Each flagship generation costs a little more than the last. Zeal sits right up against that top edge. Someone actually phoned us the other day about Zeal, and he'd been quoted £6,500 elsewhere and wanted to know what we would charge. And I said we'd look into it, because honestly, I assumed we would definitely be able to provide it lower than that. It's an instant fit device rather than a full custom build, so you expect the price to reflect that. And when I checked the figures with Oticon, the number surprised me, not because the other clinic was expensive, but because this is simply where the product has been set by Oticon. And this is where my support for the idea and my decision as a business owner part company, because clinically Zeal is good, on the face of it at least. As a concept, it's interesting, but in the real world, how many people are genuinely going to choose to spend that level on a pair of hearing aids when there are other premium options around performing brilliantly at a much more sensible price? A few will. A very small group of people who want that exact combination of invisibility and newness and are comfortable at that price. There's nothing wrong with that, they exist. But most people want something different. They want to hear well day in, day out, and know that they're going to be looked after. They want to know someone will pick up the phone if something goes wrong. They want the fine-tuning done properly, the verification, the advice that keeps everything going. And that's what our treatment plans are built on the needs of many, not the tiny fraction at the very top. If we tried to pull Zeal into that structure, everything else would have to move: prices, expectations, the shape of what we do. Once that drift starts, you're no longer fully care-led, you're orbiting a product. There's this odd tension in the industry at the moment. The same large manufacturers who are now producing OTC and self-fit products for the cheaper device-only market are also the ones supplying the private clinical market, where wholesale prices on premium devices have steadily climbed over the years. So on one side, they're supporting a low-cost, minimal care model, and on the other, they make it more expensive for clinics to deliver full service. Independents like us end up in the middle. We try to keep our prices sensible because patients need care to stay affordable, but the pressure builds from both ends. If that continues, the only thing left to squeeze is time and attention. Appointment times get shorter, follow-ups get thinner, and the quality of care starts to reduce. And that's the line for me. So yes, Oticon Zeal is a great hearing aid by the looks of it. I like the idea. I think it points at some interesting future directions. But right now, it lives in a corner of the market we're not chasing. We just can't. It belongs to a price tier that doesn't match how most of our clients think about hearing care or what they actually need from us. That's why it is a good hearing aid we won't be providing. So if you're trying to work out what makes sense for your own hearing, come and see us. We can talk about Zeal, we can talk about everything else. The goal is to get you hearing well in a way that feels sensible for you and is grounded in proper care led by some amazing clinicians.